Hi guys, glory to Jesus Christ. So I apologize for the grainy quality of this video. I'm using my iPad, trying to find a way to get using a different program to get some visual aids over in this general area eventually. I was so excited because I thought I was going to be able to do it with TouchCast, but TouchCast limits you to 5 minutes, and I'm sorry, by the time that I finish fixing my hair, I have 45 seconds left. Not really, but this is like the backup plan, the ghetto fabulous backup plan, trying to get some more visuals on the camera. So who knows if this will ever even see the light of day. Anyway, let's talk about writing letters to inmates. Specifically, this is another nuts and bolts video, going to be talking about the things that you can and cannot send in a letter. Because a lot of these things, you would never think of them unless you have a loved one or an acquaintance in prison or have been incarcerated yourself. It's really important to know this information for several reasons. Most importantly, if you send in something that isn't allowed, it's not going to get in, okay? The guards, if they're in a good mood, will just put they'll return it to you. They'll put decline due to content violation or something. If they're feeling really nasty, they'll just throw it away, but they won't tell you, and they won't tell the inmate that they had a piece of mail at all from you. So that's a very upsetting situation because these inmates are used to people promising them the world and then not really delivering. So if you say you're going to write and you don't write, that sucks. If you say you're going to write and you do write, but the inmate doesn't ever get that and they're never told, that's also problematic. It can really hurt their feelings and it can make them feel even more depressed and discouraged. So, to play it safe, you can always send in letters written in pen on plain notebook paper or even blank white printer paper. Standard size would be 8.5 by 11, maybe slightly bigger. Anything else is a little risky, depending on the facility. Try to avoid using a pencil. Avoid sending in any cardstock, any newsprint, any kind of glossy paper, parchment, papyrus. Don't send in any kind of artisanal paper that has, it's like a pressed pulp that has flower bits in it, for example. Anything that could be drugs. No, they're not going to let you to do that. And the same goes for greeting cards, by the way. Greeting cards are okay, but don't use the pressed paper ones. Just use the cheapo ones that you find at the supermarket are usually your best bet. Also avoid using highlighters with avoid using envelopes with patterned linings. Either the security lining or some of them they have decorative, flowers or whatever drawn on the inside. Avoid those when possible. Sometimes they're okay, sometimes they aren't. But again, this is about stacking the odds in your favor. Be careful with highlighters, okay? If you want to highlight, for example, if you send someone a photocopy of a Bible verse and you want to highlight something, it may or may not be okay. It's better, in my experience, to color it with a colored pencil, just very lightly, rather than using a highlighter, because if the paper gets saturated with the highlighter ink and then it dries and it has that little, crinkle to it, the guards are probably not going to let that get back in there because they're going to worry that what you've done is soaked the paper with drugs. Yes, people do this. And this is the same reason why you cannot count on your inmate ever actually getting the envelope that you use to send your stuff in, okay? That's because what people were doing is they were dipping the corner of the envelope in acid, as in the drug acid, okay? Waiting for it to dry. They put the stamp over that, okay? And so then to ingest the drugs, the inmate just tears off that part of the envelope and eats the stamp and the paper underneath of it. So don't expect your envelopes to get through. Chances are that's not happening. So always put your name and your return address. Always put that, sorry, I'm just trying to get a little more light. There we go. Always put that in your letter. You have to put it on the envelope too, but put it in your letter because that's probably all that they're going to get. Okay, definitely avoiding anything you spilled, even if it's water. Doesn't matter. If it's spilled, no. And there's another reason for that too, and this is really gross. Sometimes, and this happens more at the state and federal level than in a county jail, but what these inmates will do is to try to send communications of, drug transactions, escape attempts, whatever, witness intimidation. What they'll do, and this is disgusting, and I'm sorry to have to be disgusting, is they will write messages in their own urine. Okay? Now, once it dries, it's invisible, but then what the recipient will do is heat the paper with a lighter, and the urine will turn kind of brown. It's faint, but it works. I actually tried this once because I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is so nasty, but I have to try it, and it totally worked. Maybe that would be a good YouTube video. Have to think about that for later. Anyway, greeting cards. Greeting cards are okay. Don't send anything with, like a music chip inside of it. You know, the ones where you open it up and it plays, like God Bless America. Can't do that. Can't do anything with metallic ink, metallic decorations, foil detailing on a card or on an envelope. Nothing like that. And no cards or stationery that has like a velvety, like a flocked design on it. Avoid tissue paper. Do not send stamps in your letter unless you are sending mail to San Quentin. This is interesting. San Quentin is the only prison that I know of where you are encouraged to send stamps to the inmates. I have no idea why that is. It always shocks the heck out of me because I write to a bunch of the guys on death row in San Quentin, and they are allowed to get stamps. And I'm not saying this because they told me. I mean, I verified this with the prison. Yes, you can send stamps, but it has to be a small amount. I think I'm limited to sending him like 8 or 12 at once. But if it's not San Quentin, unless you can verify otherwise, no stamps. Don't write with scented markers. You know those, they're not Sharpies, but they're those like permanent markers that come in like every color of the rainbow and they're scented like fruit. No. No glitter, no stickers. No whiteout. No rubber cement. Let's see, what else? Okay, use caution with the following items. Use caution with magazine clippings, which are sometimes allowed, sometimes not. Newspaper clippings. You can send photos. They cannot be pornographic. You are usually forbidden from sending Polaroids, because the chemicals inside the Polaroids can be used for nefarious purposes. So you have to send either a photo that you've printed off of the internet, or you have to send like a regular, 3x5 or 4x6 photo, not a Polaroid. Don't send more than 1 or 2 photos in a single envelope. Sometimes there's a limit. So if you want to send them 10 photos, you can do that, but you're going to have to spend a couple envelopes to do that. And more than about 10 pages of anything, use caution. Some of these guys have serious restrictions on that. Some of them do not. So it's one of these situations where you're going to have to use your judgment case by case, if it's safe to do that or not. When in doubt, split it up into 2 envelopes. It's always better to be safe than sorry. So, anyway, I think that's enough brain drool for me for tonight. Looking at my notes. Yeah, I think we're all done here. So, keep your fingers crossed. I'm going to go try to put some clip art in here, see what happens. And I'll see you in the next video, hopefully after I upload this one. Okay, bye.